Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Okay, I see the comment right now. I'm already gonna say it. Robert Cathy saying that Tim on that California time. It's okay. I'm 10 minutes late, 12 minutes late, whatever. But anyways, sorry, I was already laughing before I even got my intro in. But it's Tim, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Tonight was Raw. It's Monday, May 29th, the Go Home Show for this Sunday's Extreme Rules pay-per-view, and it was just a show. Nothing special, nothing great. I honestly didn't like the show per se, but yeah, let's see who's here in the chat and on the live stream. Of course, we got Robert Cathy, Boss Gamer, DeAndre Dukes, Andre Suicida, Derek Boak, Lucid TV, Nicholas Schultz, No Lore, The Amazing 1-1, Che Lu. What is going on? I want to know what you guys thought of Raw tonight. I want to know exactly what you liked, what you didn't like. If you want to call into the show, we'll take calls here in a couple moments. Not right away, though. But if you do want to call into the show, the phone number is 559-475-8473. Like I said, we will be taking calls here in just a little bit. Let's see. We've also got Mr. Awesome 21 joining us here in the chat. Mr. Awesome 21 says games and more average. We got Chris Mason here, Sir K. What is going on? Seeing some fresh new faces here on our live stream, which is always great. If this is your first time here in a live stream with Pro Wrestling Unlimited, of course. I mean, hey, we do this. We try to do this. Not always. We try to do this 2-3 times a week. So if you do want to help us out, though, I got to get these in first. If you want to help us out, you can always go to our Gawkbox, gawkbox.com/PWUnlimited. You go there and you interact with their website. You watch a 15, 30-second clip. You download an app on your phone or your tablet, and then their people tip us. It doesn't cost anything to you, just a little bit of your time. And like I said, if you want to help us out, that's one of the best ways you can do it if you can't afford to actually spend any money. Now, if you do got a couple dollars you can shoot our way, then I would love for that. You can do it a couple different ways. If you're here in the live stream, you can always hit that super chat button right down there. But that's not the best way to do it because YouTube takes their 30% off of any super chats we get. But you can always go to our Streamlabs page, donate there, and you can also donate on our GoFundMe, gofundme.com/PWUnlimited. And finally, another great way you can help us out is go to our TeePublic store. Go to the TeePublic store, link in the description below, and get any of our t-shirts. And not just our t-shirts, but any t-shirt design can be purchased as a sticker, as a notebook case, as a cell phone case, a coffee mug. The options are endless there. Well, kind of endless, I guess. I mean, it ends with what they sell. But anyways, yeah, TeePublic store. Link is in the description below. The links to every way you can donate and help us out are in the description below. Again, if you do want to call in and talk with us about tonight's Monday Night Raw, the lines are now open at 559-475-8473. Got some more people in here. We've got Stop the Wan. We've got CT Wolf, Philip Stevenson, Gerver Singh. I'm just going to call you Gerver. Airo is here. Green Foo, OG Herbert, Michael Brent, Aziel Almendarez, Gerardo Mendoza. What is going on? So before I get going with Raw, I want to talk a little bit about the Table for Three that actually aired after Raw on the WWE Network. So it was Michael Hayes, Eric Bischoff, and Jim Cornette. First thing they pretty much say is that Jim Cornette and Eric Bischoff have never actually met or had a conversation together. They've maybe said one or two things to each other, and that's it. Okay, give me 1 second. I think we're having a couple little technical difficulties. Let me fix that right quick. All right, sorry about that. That should fix things. All right. So, like I said, it was Jim Cornette, Michael Hayes, and Eric Bischoff, and they were talking about, Hayes, Bischoff haven't really, been acquainted with each other, haven't talked much, maybe said a couple words to each other here and there. And then they mentioned Vince Russo, and they're like, the one thing we can't agree on is that we all hate Vince Russo. And they said that like 3 or 4 times. But the interesting thing was at the very end of the episode, I think Michael Hayes proposed this. He said, with the current roster we have now, if you can book one big match for WrestleMania, what would it be? Now, Jim Cornette went first and said, it's easy. A submission match between Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe. Crazy. Eric Bischoff went second, and he says, there's somebody I see that's starting to embrace his heel side, and that's Roman Reigns. So I would love to see Roman Reigns in a big match as a heel. And then Michael Hayes goes, but who's the opponent? And Eric Bischoff goes, oh, it's AJ Styles. Michael Hayes then goes and talks about John Cena and says, John Cena, when he first came from SmackDown to Raw, that's when the fans started turning on him. That's when the fans really, really started to boo him. But he's been a top guy for so long that it doesn't matter. And that his dream match for WrestleMania would be John Cena versus Roman Reigns. I thought that was pretty interesting. That was something that was a topic of interest, I guess you can say, coming out of that. Everything else was kind of the rest of the episode. It was cool, but it was all right. But caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
I'm good, and you?
Pretty good. What'd you think about Raw?
Oh man, it's bad. I thought it was just a regular Raw. I forgot it was the go home show today.
Right.
Didn't even feel like that. I was gonna ask you. You don't mind if I get off topic of Raw?
You got 3 minutes. I'll give you 3 minutes.
Did you listen to the podcast from Sam Roberts?
Which one? I listened to some of his stuff. Which one are you talking about in specific?
The one, his wrestling one this past week. He had I think it was Brother Love, right?
No,
Brad.
I didn't.
Sorry.
I know what you're talking about. I didn't see that. I didn't listen to that though.
Well, okay. They were talking about how Vince didn't want to turn Shawn Michaels to babyface, and he wanted to keep him heel and stuff until him and Michael Hayes was telling him they need to change him babyface because the fans started liking him.
Huh.
Well, he was doing the same thing with what he's doing to Roman Reigns, and then they said that one time they were waiting for him. And Vince was mad, and he said, how come they're not turning him babyface? Do you think something like that will happen with Roman or somebody else, like John Cena?
So you're thinking that if multiple people backstage, pressure Vince enough that it could happen with like a heel turn? Is that what you're asking?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's always the option for it to happen, but the big thing right now is the reason they won't turn Cena and the reason that they're won't turn Roman Reigns is merchandise. They feel if those guys turn, the amount of merchandise they're going to be selling is going to go down, and those are your top 2 guys for merch right now. You got John Cena number 1 for sure, and then Roman Reigns is right there. I mean, he is number 2 along with like New Day and stuff. So that's always the issue is turning someone heel to babyface. That's fine because you always have that thing, well, if the crowd's behind them now, they're going to be even more behind them. That could be more money for us. But turning them babyface to heel, you have that issue with, well, are the people still going to want to buy their merch? Are the people going to hate them so much that they don't want to support them, that they don't want to, you know what I mean? So that's the issue there, what makes it a little bit different.
Talking about, did Roman's promo sounded kind of heel-ish?
A little bit, and I think he did a better job than Seth Rollins did.
Yeah, that's what I was, because he even told, I think, what's his name?
Mike Rome?
At the end, to get out of his locker room. I'm like,
right.
damn. That's a hero move right there.
Exactly.
So is he like a tweener or something?
I don't know. I think it's a fact of they know people hate him, so they'll give him things
Mhm.
here and there that people can continue to hate, but they know people love him and they want him the babyface, so he's going to play more of a babyface role. I think
Mm.
it's just that thing where he's going to do things here and there that may not be super obvious heel-wise, but it's not like they're turning
Mhm.
him heel. It's just like, oh, if you hate Roman Reigns, here's something kind of heelish that you may be able to say, oh, yep, he's a bad guy. So I think it's just there's little hints of it, but I don't. There's nothing to think about it though.
And Sasha Banks, are they putting her on 205 so they could put more eyes onto the show, or
That's
what's
what I.
going on
That's
there?
what I was saying. I think this whole thing with her and Rich Swann teaming up, it's just a way. It's an experiment. I said this last week, and I said it today when I did the video about the tag team match being made for Extreme Rules. I think what this is you get somebody that is like a star, somebody with the drawing power of a Sasha Banks, somebody that the crowd likes to watch, and you see if somebody with Sasha Banks' star power is put on 205 Live, does that have more people watch? Does that make more people watch the show, whether they watch it live on Tuesday or they watch it the next day or the next week on the replay? So I think it's
Mm.
an experiment to say, hey, if we start putting more people that aren't normally on 205 Live on 205 Live, does that help the viewership?
So you thinking they're trying to put the like cruiserweights with the main roster now, like or something like that?
I don't think we're gonna get that as far as like cruiserweights wrestling regular guys. I think it's still gonna always be cruiserweights on cruiserweights. But I mean, maybe here and there you may see somebody go on 205 Live and maybe be involved in an angle or something. I haven't heard anything about this. It's just what I'm thinking based off of now that they're using Sasha Banks on there too, which is probably only going to be like a 1 week thing because I don't see this story going past Extreme Rules.
Mm-mm. Okay, that's what I got for today.
All right. Thanks for the call. Have a great night.
You too.
All right, let's check out the chat. The chat's actually going pretty good here tonight. Let's see what you guys are talking about before we take another call. Chris Mason says, is Adam Cole going to WWE? As of last Wednesday, Adam Cole had not been offered a deal, but many believe that he's been, that he's going to come. There's many in the WWE that believe he's going to come. It's just a matter of, do they get him before SummerSlam weekend or not? And it looks like they could, as his last scheduled house show, or not house show, but indie date is June, I want to say 10th. So he can come in on like either the last set of tapings before NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, or he can show up at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Robert Cathy said, did Vince Russo come up with the name Great Balls of Fire? That's funny as hell. No Lore says, Big Cass attacked Enzo because Enzo reminds him too much of James Ellsworth because he did for Carmelo. Wow. Robert Cathy, snap, the table for 3 is up now. I've been wanting to see this one. Yes, I like all the table for 3s. They're all right. They're good. This one, there was a lot more backstage talk than anything. The whole episode was built around they've all worked in creative. And what kinds of things creative-wise did they like from their careers and this and that? Michael Hayes is the only one still working creative. So it was good. It was good, but there's more backstage kind of talk than there is in any of the other ones that I've seen. Harris TS says NXT is effing up Raw. Derek Boak says, I totally agree. This isn't WCW, bury the cruiserweights. Let's see. Yeah, let's take this call. This caller's been calling in since the show started pretty much. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
I'm good. I was wondering, what do you think of this thing that happened tonight with Big Cass and Corey Graves and Kurt Angle. What do you think exactly is happening there?
Now, the Corey Graves Kurt Angle thing, I don't know if that's related to the Enzo Big Cass stuff. I mean, it could be. We don't know. There's a lot of speculation going around already, and the show ended, an hour and a half ago? So we don't know exactly if the Corey Graves Kurt Angle stuff does actually have anything to do with the Enzo Big Cass stuff. We can assume it might because of the whole thing with Big Cass pretty much, going out there and telling Corey Graves, if you start talking crap on me, I'm going to have to do something about it. That was super heel. But, yeah, I don't think it has anything to do. I could be wrong. We don't know. We may not. I mean, I don't know why they would start an angle like this week before the pay-per-view and not do it next week unless there's going to be some sort of indication on what it could have been at the pay-per-view on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, I was wondering how often do you think mixed tag matches are going to happen in the cruiserweights because of the Alicia Fox and Sasha Banks stuff?
Honestly, I don't see this going past Extreme Rules. I don't see a need or a reason why it would.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, I was on YouTube the other day, and I happened to go to ICW's YouTube page, and
Right.
they had a thing, and they had Noam Dar advertised for a tag team match.
Yes.
At an event. What exactly is going on with that? Isn't he under contract? Or?
Yes, but the thing with this is, it's weird. Because if guys are under contract with WWE, especially if they're main roster guys, they typically, this is like uncalled for. They don't let them go work for other promotions. Now, the thing with this is, if you're under a contract with WWE right now as a UK performer, you're allowed to work with ICW, work with Progress Wrestling, work with some other companies over there in the UK. So this could be a thing where, they wanted Noam Dar, and so they talked to WWE about it, and the relationship between ICW and the WWE is really good right now. It caught me off guard too, because if it was somebody like from the UK show, like Pete Dunne or Trent Seven doing this match, then I would be like, okay, cool. But for it to be Noam Dar, a main roster superstar, not even like somebody in NXT that doesn't get pushed. Noam Dar, he's, to be honest, all over everything. He's on Raw every week in a good prominent spot. He's on 205 Live every week in a good prominent spot. So I honestly couldn't tell you why they allowed this other than they have a good working relationship with ICW, and there have been talks of them wanting to get more involved with both ICW and with Progress. So this could just be a way of them saying, hey, we'll let you use this guy, and then what are we going to get in return?
To be honest, when I first saw it, I kind of thought Noam Dar got released, so I had to go and check.
Right.
I was really confused, but
yeah, a lot of people were confused over it.
So I wonder, how did this come about? I wonder if ICW approached WWE,
right.
Which is probably the case.
Maybe, yeah. And I don't know, maybe it was the case of them just saying, hey, we want to use somebody, who can we use? And so WWE just said, no Dar. Could have been that too. We don't know if they asked for him specifically. I've asked around and nobody really knows exactly anything with this other than they allowed him to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just really caught me off guard, and I just had no idea what was going on with this.
Right, and because there's so little information known about the deal that got cut or how or why they allowed him, that's why I didn't really report on it. Because I'm not going to just say, hey, a main roster guy is working for this promotion. Cool. What else am I going to say? I'm not going to waste your guys' time in a video if I don't have any actual news to report as far as why it could be happening.
Yeah. And also, so earlier in the video today, you said that in the possibly in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match that they were going to bring somebody up from NXT, and since it'd only be four with the other four people,
Right.
being there, they could have Billie Kay and Peyton Royce come up, and it'd be a 6-woman ladder
Maybe.
match.
But since I've posted that video and I said, hey, this is what's being reported, they could bring someone up from NXT, I did hear the name Lana, and she has been working for NXT over the last couple of months as far as doing their house shows. So it could be that she's the name that they're saying is quote-unquote coming up from NXT. Or it could be somebody else like an Ember Moon. Or, I mean, to be honest, if you look at every female down there in NXT, no disrespect, but the only ones that I can see being ready to even perform in a ladder match would be Asuka or Ember Moon, to be honest. I mean, maybe Ruby Riott and maybe Nikki Cross.
Yeah, I don't really see Ruby Riott coming up so soon because she just debuted a couple months. But it did cross my mind that Lana might debut because she has been working for NXT.
Right.
And I think somebody last week said something about it. I don't remember.
Yeah, her name's been floating around for this match because they keep saying, Lana's coming soon, Lana's coming soon. And everyone was just trying to speculate, well, why would they only have 4 women? Wouldn't that make it, kind of a boring ladder match? So.
Yeah, and 5 is like a weird number, too. And
I mean,
it's not.
I think 5 works because if you have 4, you just always have 2 women fighting and 2 women fighting. But if you have 5, you can always have someone come in and break it up. You always have that extra person who, if 2 people are climbing the ladder and you have 2 people fighting outside, you have that extra person that can come in and break something up.
Yeah, I can see that. Do you think like any of these women are really ready for it besides like Becky Lynch and Charlotte?
I mean, Natalya, yes.
Yeah.
Tamina, maybe. Carmella, I've heard, is probably going to get the women's title match, not be in the ladder match. And so then that leaves, like you said, Becky, Charlotte. Those 2 I could see doing all right. And then you have Tamina and Natalya. I mean, Natalya, she's been wrestling all her life. She can do whatever, and I think she'd probably do fine. So I think out of those
have,
4...
Splash up of the ladder.
Right, I bet you Charlotte's going to try and do a moonsault off one of the ladders, whether it be just on the outside or something. I don't know. I could just see her trying to do a moonsault off the ladder because she does those moonsaults to the outside all the time. But yeah, I think the 4 that they have, if they don't go Carmella, should be all right. It probably wouldn't be that exciting. So I think it would be all right.
So like how often do you think that they would like physically interact with like the ladders, like getting thrown onto them?
I mean,
or,
honestly,
pushed off?
That's unknown. We don't know exactly because I was told that they actually wanted to do this match last year and Vince shot it down.
Yeah.
So it's really unknown exactly how physical they're going to let them get as far as using the ladders. I doubt we're going to see a spot where someone like puts the ladders over their head on their shoulders and does the airplane spin thing. And so, I mean, it's going to be like a toned down version of what we've ever seen with males. I can probably see that being very toned down.
And my final question tonight is, if Jinder is able to keep the belt until SummerSlam, who do you think his opponent is going to be?
Until SummerSlam, well, I'm going to tell you right now.
Like at SummerSlam.
Right. And I'm going to tell you right now that he should be the champion going into SummerSlam. I don't see Randy Orton beating him. I don't see him losing the title at Battleground. To be honest, I've heard 6 to 8 month title reign at SummerSlam. I mean, maybe if he doesn't win Money in the Bank, which I haven't heard that he is a favorite to, AJ Styles. I know a lot of people are saying John Cena, but I've also heard that if he does face John Cena, it won't be till Royal Rumble, if he's still the champion by then.
Yeah, I don't know. You could have Rusev come in there.
But the thing is, okay, you go into SummerSlam, you want your WWE title match to be as good as possible. So if you put him in there with someone like an AJ Styles who can carry the match and have a good match, I think that's your best bet because it's your second biggest show. Well, some people say third, depending on how you rate the Rumble. Second or third biggest show of the year. If you can put AJ with them and have AJ pull out a above average match, I think that's going to be good Because you don't want to go in there and have another WWE title match like you did last year with Ambrose and Ziggler, and that match just super underperformed.
Yeah, and this also, I just thought about this. Who does Kevin Owens face really at SummerSlam?
Honestly, maybe, I know if you look at house shows, it could be Nakamura, but a lot of times house show matches don't transfer to the main roster. Could be Sami Zayn, depending on how they want to push him. Because, I mean, you know, the whole Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens match, they never have bad matches against each other. So, again, if you're trying to have the best matches you can possibly have at SummerSlam, you can do Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and that would, in my opinion, be a great match at SummerSlam. We've seen it, what was it, last year at Payback they had a one-on-one match, or was it Battleground? One of the two. It was either last year's Payback or last year's Battleground. They had a great singles match.
Yeah, and so with the mixed tag team match happening at Extreme Rules, it is in Rich Swan's hometown. So do you think Sasha and Rich are going to lose?
I thought about that, and I think there's a good chance, seeing how Alicia Fox and Noam Dar are most likely still going to be together after Extreme Rules, and I can see Rich Swann and Sasha Banks just going their separate ways and not interacting ever again. So I can see Rich and Sasha Banks losing.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for the call, and have a great night.
Have a great night. Thanks for the call. All right, so let's check the chat, and then we're going to run down Raw, because I have some things to say about this Raw, and then we'll take some more calls later. Let's see. Nicholas Schultz says Corey for GM. Harris TS says keep calm and love Jinder Mahal. Hey, if you love Jinder Mahal, you can go to our T Public store, support Jinder Mahal, and get our I'm a Jinder Mahal guy t-shirt. Kyle Ace, perfect, right on the spot. Said Corey Graves was a busy man tonight. Gerardo Mendoza says, could the angle with Kurt and Corey be the seeds planted for a Kurt wrestling return? I don't know about that. A lot of people are saying that it could have to do with Stephanie's return. Either Corey got some information about Kurt that Kurt may not know was leaked, or Stephanie said something privately about Kurt and it got out to Corey Graves. But I do like the extended on-screen role of Corey Graves tonight, and I think they need to keep that going because he's not only a great announcer. I mean, he's a great on-screen talent. We saw it in NXT before he got hurt and made to retire, so I think, an elevated role for Corey Graves, no one's going to complain about that. Nobody at all. Lennox Pie says, did Big Cass find out who it was? I mean, unless it's him, I honestly think it's going to be Big Cass. Calvi Schoen says, the WWE Network is a joke. Boss Gamer Caitlyn video. I don't know what you're talking about there. Caitlyn video. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. Bullet Club versus Shield. How bad was the Alexa Bliss segment? Horrible. Alexa's usually a good promo, but that Bayley This Is Your Life thing, oh my God, was that bad. That was horrific. So Monday Night Raw opens up. We'll run down the show real fast. Monday Night Raw opens up with a Memorial Day video package narrated by John Cena, talking about great figures of America, including George Patton, Barack Obama, Ronald Reagan, and Norman Schwarzkopf. I think that's how you say it. And you see how they didn't say our current president. They said the last president, Barack Obama, but they didn't make reference to our current president and WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. Just to point that out. So the show started off with Miz TV segment. Miz said that he was feeling good because of this Sunday he will become the new Intercontinental Champion and take his championship back from Dean Ambrose. Ambrose said he went to Angle and asked for a stipulation. Miz said he went to Kurt, asked for a stipulation where Ambrose would lose the title if he got disqualified. And then he says, I'm going to become the 7-time champion. Ambrose came out, said that he doesn't always make great decisions, but he sees 3 butt heads because, okay, I missed the spot. Cesaro and Sheamus came out to be the guest, talked about how they're going to beat the Hardys for the tag titles. Ambrose then came out. Miz said that there were 3 people on his side as well, and out came the Hardys. They all started to brawl, went to commercial, and when we came back, there was a 6-man tag where the Hardy Boys and Dean Ambrose did defeat Miz, Sheamus, and Cesaro. Match was really good. Like, it was a great opener. I really liked the match. Match delivered a side effect on the Miz, forcing Sheamus to make the save. Ambrose gave Cesaro the dirty deeds and then a top rope splash to Sheamus. No, not a top rope splash. What am I reading? He gave the dirty deeds to Cesaro. Matt Hardy gave Miz a swinging neck breaker, which I think was the setup of twist. This spot got a little weird because it was kind of timed wrong. I guess like Matt was to Miz's back, went to turn him around. I don't know how it happened here, but he then ended up setting up a twist of fate, and Jeff pinned Miz with a swanton bomb. Kind of clumsy finish, which we also saw a finish in the triple threat. This seemed a little bit off kilter, wasn't timed right. Boss Gamer says Caitlyn nude video. Was it something new? I saw the pictures when they were leaked. Boss Gamer. I saw the pictures when they were leaked, but I never saw no. I don't know. Hold on. I might have just got something here. Let's keep running down Raw. I'm going to check this out. So then Michael Cole talked to the Booker and Corey Graves. This is when Corey got the message and left the broadcast table. We then had... Oh, wait. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to check on this. There might have been an injury on the main event tapings between Lince Dorado and Drew Gulak. Looks like Lince Dorado may have tweaked his knee. Not confirming that yet, though, as I'm going to look into it. All right, so this is when, like I said, Corey Graves left the announce table, and he went to go see Kurt Angle, as we did learn after the break. Corey Graves shared a text message backstage with Kurt. It was from somebody who said that Angle was a disgrace and an embarrassment to the WWE and besmirched his reputation as a gold medalist. Now, I don't know exactly who would have said this or what this was in reference to, but like I said earlier, I think this could be something as far as, you know, maybe Stephanie said it in a closed doors meeting, and then the person that she was in the meeting with related to Corey Graves. Or Kurt did something that somebody either took wrong or he didn't know they saw. I don't know. We don't know. But Kurt then did say, you know, if this is true, this can ruin me. He said that this can cost him his job. The contents of the text message were never shared with the audience. We don't know exactly what actually was on that cell phone that Kurt was reading or that Corey Graves received. And Graves said that he felt Angle has done a great job so far, and then he went back to the announce table. I think Michael Cole tried to ask him once or twice, you know, what's going on, and he just shrugged it off. Elias Sampson was then in the ring. He sang his song, and then he took on a jobber, Zach Evans, in a 3-minute match. It was a squash match, like something you'd see in the early 90s. Corey Graves came back after that match. Again, like I said, Cole tried to ask him, you know, what was going on with Kurt, and he just shrugged it off. Joe was then in the middle, and then we saw Samoa Joe get interviewed by Charlie Caruso. He was talking about Finn Balor and how I watched the 24 special on the WWE Network with Finn Balor, and I've learned some of his weaknesses. Now, here's the thing. You learned some of his weaknesses by watching the 24 special, but you didn't learn any weaknesses on your 6-month feud in NXT over the NXT Championship. They didn't make one single goddamn reference to that feud. Those two feuded for 6 months at least over the NXT Championship, and they didn't make one reference to that throughout the night as far as Joe and his promo when he talked about figuring out the weaknesses of Finn Balor. And then, really? Like, you had to watch a documentary to learn some weaknesses? No. You learned his weaknesses when you defeated him in Lowell, Massachusetts for the championship. And then you learned his weaknesses when you retained your championship in a goddamn cage match. No. Did he? Okay. Who won the cage match? Now it's NXT TakeOver the End. Hold on, I'm going to look this up. NXT TakeOver the End. Was the cage match before or after? Now I'm getting confusing myself. Hold on one second. NXT TakeOver the End. Yeah, Joe defeated Balor. I don't know why I second guessed myself. Joe defeated Balor in the cage match. Like, they didn't make one reference to any of that. It just baffled me. It's like NXT doesn't matter on the main roster. They make reference sometimes, but like with Nakamura and Dolph Ziggler. Oh, Nakamura's done nothing here in the WWE. He's done nothing that could make fans want to cheer him. Done nothing. Two-time NXT champion. Sorry. He's done more better things than you, so you don't want to make note of it. Like, the main roster sometimes, they try to kill NXT. They try to, NXT's doing better than us, so we're never going to reference it when it really should be. Like, so stupid. So stupid. Anyway, so he's doing the interview with Charlie Caruso. He says Bray Wyatt's name, and as he's, like, he says two things about Bray, not even, 30 seconds, and then Bray Wyatt comes up on the screen. Says that he's the only one that can take down the Beast. He's the only one that would defeat Brock Lesnar. That he was prepared to go to war. And then at the end of time against the... he says something about, I don't know. It was kind of talking about, how the old knights used to take down the Beasts and this and that. And then Wyatt said, Joe and Seth Rollins and Finn Balor will give in to their fears and run. We then had the triple threat match, which I really liked. The triple threat. It was Joe, Wyatt, and Finn Balor. Joe and Wyatt took turns watching the other face Finn Balor in the opening few minutes. Match went, 16, 17 minutes. Balor took a superplex on a Tower of Doom spot where Wyatt powerbombed Joe in the corner. There was a sequence where Joe and Wyatt ganged up on Balor, ending with each dropping sentons on him. Wyatt clotheslined Joe to end a momentary partnership. Balor did a comeback with a running knee across the apron to Joe. Balor ran around ringside with a kick to Wyatt's forehead and then sprinted to the other side where he drop-kicked Joe. The crowd was very hot for Finn Balor after that for pretty much the rest of the match. In the ring, Joe planted Balor with a Uranagi and then clamped on the Coquina Clutch. Balor kicked off the turnbuckles and escaped and hit a double knee stomp on Joe. Wyatt ran in and attempted to do his sister Abigail, but Balor got out of it, then hitting the double knees on Bray Wyatt as well. Balor then hit Wyatt from behind. Wyatt got Joe with his sister Abigail. Sorry. Wyatt got Joe with his sister Abigail, but Balor hit him from behind before he was able to go for it. Gave him the sling blade, drop kick, coup de grace, but Joe ran in. And this was kind of weird and mistimed because it looked like, because he hit the sister Abigail on Joe, and then Joe kind of almost slid out of the ring, but he didn't, and Finn was up on the top rope. Like, what are you doing up there? He then kind of looked around and then got down. So I thought maybe Bray was out of position and he was supposed to maybe do a drop kick off the top rope. I don't know, but it did look a little off. Match ended when Joe ran in after the coup de grace from Balor to Wyatt. He threw Balor off of Wyatt into the post and covered Bray Wyatt. Really good match, like I said. Before we keep going, we will take this call. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on? Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hello.
Hello?
This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited.
Yes, it is.
Wait a minute.
What did you think of Raw tonight?
I'm sorry. I very bit know English language.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute. Sorry.
All right, and we lost him. I don't know. All right, let's check the chat then. Let's check the chat. No Lore says, is Vince a big fan of Triple H, NXT? That's why the main roster doesn't name it. Well, from everything I'm always being told, Vince pretty much doesn't watch NXT. Just here and there, the officials be like, hey, check this little thing out real fast that we did in NXT, or check this out. But Vince typically doesn't watch NXT. He doesn't go to any of the tapings. I don't even know if he goes to, like, you know, when they do the co-branded weekends for, like, takeovers and stuff. I don't even know if he goes to those. I know the first NXT show Vince ever went to was the show Friday night before WrestleMania 31 in San Jose. That was the first time Vince ever attended anything NXT. And I don't know how many things, if any, that he's gone to since, to be honest. I know he knows things that goes on in NXT, because like last year, I want to say American Alpha were the tag team champions. The day of TakeOver, he called and said, hey, they can't win because they're coming up in the draft. No, I don't care what your plans are, because the plans were for Alpha to win. He says, I don't care what your plans are, but they're not winning because they're coming up to the main roster with this draft. So he has say. Like, he's Vince. He has say over everything. He knows what kinds of things are going on. So... But yeah, I don't know how up-to-date he is with NXT. Let's see. Philip Stevenson says the text is from Triple H. Maybe. Like I said, it could either be from Stephanie, or it can be about something Stephanie said about Kurt. We don't know. Descos 1972 says, what the heck happened to Apollo Crews? He should have never been moved to Raw. Hey, they had a plan for him and Titus. I don't know if it was the plan before or not, but yeah. Let's see. What else are you guys saying here in the chat? Yeah, a lot of you guys are asking, what could those texts be that Corey Graves got? Robert Cathy says NXT gets no love from the main roster. Calvary Stone says Dolph Ziggler is a Spirit Squad reject. Let's see. What else are you guys talking about? You guys are having your own conversations here. Philip Stevenson says, what did you think about the stable called the Drama Club with Goldust, Miz? Oh, about I don't know. I don't see Miz getting put into a group. I don't think that's a good idea, to be honest. Let's take this call here. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim, what's up?
How'd you like Raw?
It was okay. I liked the main event with Rollins and Reigns.
That was a good match.
It was. It was one of the better matches they've had on Raw in a while.
Yes, that is for sure.
So, what is the deal with the Hardys possibly losing at Extreme Rules? Because maybe they want to push Matt and Jeff on separate brands, is what I've heard.
Well, they're not moving people brands anytime now. I mean, if you're going to move people brands, it's not going to come till sometime after SummerSlam. So if they're going to want to switch them brands, like I said, it's not going to be till after SummerSlam. They could lose the titles to Sheamus and Cesaro, because Sheamus and Cesaro lost tonight, so maybe that was an indication of, hey, we lose on Raw, we win at the pay-per-view. I don't know what's going to happen. Again, it goes back to the whole original story of they want to keep the tag titles on them till they can be broken. As of last week, Matt could not get the trademark to be broken, so we don't know. That's something that there's a lot of intrigue there, because you don't know which way it can go based off of all this backstage rumors.
So, is Wyatt winning the Extreme Rules match because he lost tonight?
I don't think so. I think it's going to go to Seth Rollins, because you saw he lost to Roman Reigns in the main event. And that's who I've been saying since they made, even before they made the five-way, I said somebody that should be facing Brock Lesnar like sooner rather than later should be Seth Rollins, because he's somebody that he can lose and it won't really kill his momentum or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been saying, like, when the original plan was to do Braun Strowman at SummerSlam and they needed somebody else for Great Balls of Fire, it was reversed. Braun was going to do Great Balls of Fire and need somebody for SummerSlam, I had always been saying, do Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I read an interesting. Oh, good.
No, go for it.
I read an interesting article today that possibly Braun Strowman was going to be at Extreme Rules and cost Reigns the match because they're saying maybe he's not cleared to compete, but good enough to do a run-in and possibly cost Reigns the match, setting up Great Balls of Fire.
Okay, but here's the thing. If you're going to do that, you have to know for sure that he's going to be cleared for Great Balls of Fire. Because if you set something up between them at Extreme Rules and then he's not cleared for Great Balls of Fire, that's where you're screwed. Right now, the last thing I was told was that he should be cleared for SummerSlam, not Great Balls of Fire. It's too close. So I feel like if you're going to try and set up a match for Great Balls of Fire between Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman, I mean, it's a good way to do it. But at the same time, unless you know that Braun's going to be cleared for Great Balls of Fire by Sunday, then I wouldn't do it because it's just like, okay, you set this up on Sunday, and then if you can't go forward with it, what do you do with Roman Reigns at Great Balls of Fire? You just throw him in some random match that doesn't make no sense with no build?
Right. So, can we talk about that women's Money in the Bank?
Go for it.
All right, so I've heard so many different things that it's going to be Asuka, or it's going to be Ember Moon, or they're just going to do 4 women, or possibly Summer Rae.
Well, Summer Rae's on Raw. She was backstage today.
Okay.
The other woman that's on SmackDown that doesn't get used, which because she hasn't debuted yet, is Lana. So they could go Lana. I feel like if it's Asuka, she's going to have to give up the Women's Championship in NXT. And then if it's Ember Moon, they could do that, but then Ember Moon's the one who they want to take the title from Asuka in NXT. So,
Right. What happened to Dana Brooke and Emma? Are they just not appearing?
Well, Emma's hurt. Emma injured her shoulder on the UK tour. Emma's supposed to come back within the next 3 to 4 weeks. She's already back at the Performance Center training. It wasn't a serious injury. It was just something to where she did hurt the shoulder pretty good, didn't require surgery, just keep her out for about 2 months. So Emma is coming back in mid-June, early July. That's not an issue. But as far as the Dana Brooke thing, I don't know why they haven't been using her on TV. Maybe they are just waiting to do the Emma thing, and so they think, well, we have nothing for her until Emma comes back.
Right, so here's which one would happen sooner?
Okay.
That I want to ask you of your opinion. Which one would happen sooner? Roman Reigns turning heel, or the Young Bucks coming to WWE and forming the Balor Club with Finn Balor?
I would probably have to say Roman Reigns turning heel because the Young Bucks cannot come to WWE legally until 2019.
How come? Are they legally bound by?
Yes. In last December, they signed a 2-year deal with Ring of Honor and with New Japan Pro Wrestling that has them locked into the end of December 2018. So essentially, they would not be able to come in till at least Royal Rumble time 2019.
That sucks.
So, yeah. So, I guess, I don't see them turning Roman Reigns heel anytime soon, before next year's WrestleMania. But with the thing of the Bucks being under contract until the end of 2018, I would have to go Roman Reigns. Because you never know, and something can change, and they say, screw it, let's try heel Roman.
Right. So, I've been looking at different YouTube videos of how people would turn Cena heel, and I came up with an okay theory that may work if Vince has the right mindset going into this.
Okay.
Alright, so is Undertaker fully retired, or is he
Undertaker, he should be done. He had hip surgery right after WrestleMania. So yeah, everything that I've heard and everything that he said to people is it's more solid than he's ever before, because he knew he knew after Royal Rumble, you know what? I'm done after this year's WrestleMania. He was saying it right after that Rumble match. Yeah.
All right. Well, I had Undertaker winning the title at Royal Rumble, and then having Cena win the Rumble, and then have a Taker versus Cena match. I quit.
I don't know if Taker can do a I Quit match at this point in his, life. And like I said,
Yeah.
he's done. He has no interest. Like, yes, he says it every year, I'm done. I'm not coming back. And then Vince gets him back. But this year, I mean, he had the hip replacement right after WrestleMania. He was saying well before WrestleMania that he was done. So it was just a fact of, you know what? I don't see him ever coming back to wrestle.
All right. This is Raw. Do you think maybe the text message was Mick Foley? Because you have to remember, Kurt Angle replaced Mick
Right.
As GM.
But what would Mick say that would make, because they said that because the thing was, the text said something along the lines of a disgrace and an embarrassment to the WWE that would besmirch his reputation as a gold medalist.
Well,
What would
I don't
Mick,
know.
you know what I mean? Because Mick Foley,
Yeah.
he's the nice guy. He's not going to be spreading rumors and talking crap about people behind their backs and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I would not say anything involving Mick Foley.
So, what are they going to do with him now that Angle's the GM?
Mick Foley?
Yeah.
He's done with the company. He had hip replacement surgery as well. He's gone. He wasn't even signed to an actual contract. He was just working every Monday for them as the general manager. But yeah, he was not under like a full-time contract or anything.
Yeah.
He was just there to do the general manager character until they found somebody that could replace him. So,
All right. Have you heard anything on a possible Kurt Angle match?
No.
Possibly at SummerSlam or Survivor Series? All right.
No. People keep trying to start the rumors or write their fake reports on, SummerSlam or it's either going to be SummerSlam or WrestleMania. Kurt's going to fight Triple H. I haven't heard one single thing come up. Kurt keeps saying that it's looking promising. Like, he'll do an interview and say, it looks promising. It looks like I may be able to wrestle for them. But he's always saying may. He's not saying that he's going to for sure because nobody knows. They haven't done, like, the extensive medical checks and all the background things that they need to do before they would let him wrestle.
So they didn't do a physical on him or anything?
Not like they do for people that are going to get in the ring. Not as extensive.
Right.
Right,
So,
since he's just an on-screen character, they don't need to check out his whole body. Make sure he can take bumps. Make sure he can do full 20-minute matches. Like they did with Shelton Benjamin and found out that he needed shoulder surgery.
right. Have you heard an update on him or someone else that was in the company when the Ruthless Aggression era that may be coming back soon? Or
No. As far as Benjamin goes, he said 2 weeks after Mania, he wasn't signed with anybody. He hadn't been signed with anybody for a while. And he even said, WWE promoted me to come back, and I wasn't even officially signed yet. So yeah, he's not even. I think those talks have kind of slowed down, or if not stopped.
Right. Do you think they will bring anybody into a Broken Hardy gimmick if they get the gimmick at all?
Anybody as in who though?
Like Matt's wife, or like maybe bring someone from TNA.
When they signed Matt and Jeff, they just signed Matt and Jeff, and that's all that they wanted at the time. I don't know if things have changed, and we may not know until they finally get the gimmick and figure out what they want to do with it. But when they signed Matt and Jeff right before Mania, all they wanted was Matt and Jeff.
All right. Do you think that Rollins could lose and then maybe go into a feud with Ambrose? Because I've heard talks that they're turning Ambrose heel.
I keep hearing the heel thing, but I only hear that from rumors. I haven't heard that from anybody that can actually confirm or deny that to me. All I hear is it on random reports. Nothing that's been confirmed. Nobody that I would trust, like as far as a journalist in wrestling, has even said that. It's all these random Twitters and YouTubes and pages like, I haven't heard that from anybody that I could trust as far as concrete or legitimate.
All right, thanks for your time, Tim.
Not a problem. Have a great night.
You too.
Yeah, as far as the whole thing with everyone keeps saying, oh, they're turning Dean Ambrose heel. They're turning Dean Ambrose heel. I only hear that on random Twitter accounts or random YouTube videos or random quote-unquote wrestling news sites that make stuff up. So, yeah, the whole Dean Ambrose turning heel thing, they could turn him heel. But I haven't heard it from anybody that I would call credible or legitimate or, anything that would lead me to believe that it could happen. Nobody I've talked to, nobody that I've, tried to contact has said, yes, this is what we could be thinking, or no, this isn't what we could be thinking, or, so, yeah. Right now, if you see someone that says, oh, Dean Ambrose is turning heel, don't even think two things about it. All right, so after the triple threat, we had a backstage interview. Mike Rome interviewed Seth Rollins. Rollins said that over the past few months, he's gotten to know Joe very well because Joe shows up whenever he turns his back. He knows Reigns even better. Rollins said that he and Reigns want the same thing and that it is to be the very best in the business. He always knows he owns Reigns, and he doesn't see why tonight will be any different. Now, here's something that got me a little heated tonight. So he goes, I own Reigns. I've got Reigns' number. But didn't say why. He didn't say, oh, I got Reigns' number because I beat him. I pinned him for the WWE Championship WrestleMania 31. I beat him. I pinned him for the WWE Championship last year's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Like, if you're going to say, I own this guy, I got his number, you got to say why. And you got to say why, especially if you've pinned him twice to become WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Like, are you freaking kidding me? You're going to go out there and say, I own Roman Reigns. I own him. And then not give any reason why? Just because, oh, you hit him in the back with a chair when you broke up the Shield? Is that why you own him? No. It's because you beat him twice for the championship. You got to say those kinds of things to make yourself seem like a legitimate threat to Roman Reigns when everybody knows that Roman Reigns is being pushed as the top guy. So that right there, that's something they should have said. They should have been like, you know what? I beat him twice for the championship. He was facing Brock Lesnar for the world title at WrestleMania 31. I cashed in Money in the Bank. I pinned him. Then I took him on at Money in the Bank last year. I pinned him. So, yeah, they should have said something along those lines instead of just, I own Roman. I have his number. He doesn't see, and then, tonight ain't going to be any different. He said when he takes that right knee and cracks it over Reigns' head, it won't be anything personal. But Sunday, Rollins is going to get his chance to make history. Like, really? Really? He really should have. Then we had Rich Swann versus Noam Dar. Alicia was at ringside. Sasha was at ringside. It was about a 3-minute match. Noam Dar lost. Then after the match, we had Sasha and Rich Swann in there dancing around, doing their stuff. And then Rich Swann, it was kind of funny. Rich Swann went and did his big old jump 5 feet in the air and landed in the splits. And Sasha goes, oh, no, I can't do that. And then they danced a little more, whatever. Okay, cool. We then had Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder of the Revival backstage being interviewed by Charlie Caruso. Wilder said that his jaw was wired shut, which they used as an excuse why the Revival hasn't been on TV. When Caruso brought up the fact that Enzo was laid out last week and that many think it was them, they said, no, we haven't been at Raw in 6 weeks. She then said, well, I have this footage that proves that you were here last week while I was interviewing Sasha Banks. They then showed a video where in the very background, you see Dawson and Wilder walking around in the back, whatever. Dawson claimed that, oh, yeah, okay, we may have been there. We may show up here sometimes, but it's because it's our job to be here at Raw. But we got other top guy things to take care of since we can't wrestle right now. Oh, okay, cool. They then said that in anyways, why do we got to worry about Enzo? He's a bottom feeder. He's like a tilapia. He's at the bottom of the barrel here in WWE. And they said, we had nothing to do with it. We then had Cole, Booker, and Graves up at the announce booth. Graves said that he knew the Big Cass has seen the footage, implying that Cass was the one who jumped Enzo last week. After highlights from 205 Live and the street fight with Kendrick and Tozawa, Cass then came out, got in Corey Graves' face, and Corey quickly apologized. Cass pretty much said, "Are you trying to accuse me of things?" He got super heel on Corey Graves, that's for sure. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Yeah. Hello. So you brought up the Young Bucks earlier, and that got me thinking about Kenny Omega. And so what if he comes to the WWE next year? What time do you think he'll come in next year, and to what brand?
Well, it's interesting to think what brand, because typically when they sign somebody, like we're gonna see with Adam Cole, they're gonna go to NXT first. But with Kenny Omega being such a big star, I wouldn't be surprised if they brought him straight to the main roster like they did with AJ Styles. I know AJ Styles has said before in the past, maybe I should have done 3 or 4 months in NXT first. I don't know if that was something WWE made him say in an interview to put over NXT. I don't know. But as far as when he can come in anytime. I want to say it probably wouldn't be till after next year's WrestleMania, because I know his contract he started negotiations on his contract with New Japan mid to late February. So if something wasn't signed till, say, March, next year's WrestleMania is the beginning of April 8th, I want to say it is.
Yeah.
So maybe they can sign him in time for WrestleMania, but there would really be no build if they were to do a match. Now, could he just appear at WrestleMania and start from there? It depends on what the story would be and who they're putting him with, if the plan is for him to go straight to Mania or to the main roster. But yeah, if he were to sign with WWE, it probably wouldn't be till around, if not after Mania time, because we don't know exactly when he signed his contract with New Japan. It's a 1-year deal. And like I said, he went back to Japan after taking a month off. He went back in mid to late February. I think it was mid-February to start negotiations.
So if he wants to come in next year, how fast do you think he would win either the WWE Championship or the Universal Championship? How long do you think it'd be before he won?
I don't think they'd put the title on him that quickly. I mean, you got to think about it. With AJ Styles, he didn't get the title till, what was it, August, September? And that's what, 8-9 months? And AJ Styles, in all honesty, AJ Styles is a bigger deal in the United States than Kenny Omega, just for the straight fact of more people in the States know who AJ Styles is because of his runs with Ring of Honor and with TNA. He was on TV. He was on Spike TV, a top network here. So with Kenny Omega, their feeling might be, yes, he's a big worldwide star, but because most of his success came in Japan, we may have to get the crowds here in the United States more acclimated to him. So it may be a little longer than it was for AJ. So maybe if the plan were to, okay, we're going to push this guy straight to the top, I'd say give it a year. I don't think it would be the 6-8 months or whatever it was for AJ Styles. And that's, like I said, straight to the point of more people in the United States probably knew who AJ was right off the bat because of his runs with like TNA and how they were on Spike TV for so long, which is one of the, a top cable network.
So say he doesn't get signed in time for WrestleMania next year in New Orleans. For WrestleMania 35, who do you think his opponent could most likely be?
That I couldn't even try to speculate because first off, right, that's 2 years away. We don't know who's still going to be in WWE. We don't know if someone's going to pull a Cody Rhodes and say, "I'm not happy, I'm leaving." we don't know if they're going to sign somebody else big from outside WWE. I mean, we don't know who's going to be on the main roster from NXT. I mean, you could speculate and say, oh, a good match for him at WrestleMania would maybe be Adam Cole, if Adam Cole's on the main roster by that time, which he should be. So it's just 2 years out is really too hard to start trying to fantasy book. Even next year's WrestleMania is too hard to try and fantasy book because of the fact of, like I said, who's going to be signed into the company by then? Who's going to be out with injuries? Who's going to be up from NXT? It's just too hard right now. If it was 6 months out, it'd be different. But with it being a year, 2 years out, it's too hard to fantasy book.
And since you brought up Adam Cole, do you think they'll continue that storyline if they both come to WWE around the same point?
I don't think they would do the whole Bullet Club story where, you know, him and Kenny Omega had the beef and then Kenny Omega kicked him out of the Bullet Club. I don't think they would do that because their knowledge would be, oh, that happened somewhere else. People don't know what that is because it didn't happen in our company.
Like, do you think they would make a little reference to it at all if they were to have, like, a rivalry?
Probably not. Because they don't ever make reference to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn having rivalries before WWE. The only reference they make is that they've been friends for 14 years. Other than that, they don't make any reference to anything they ever did together outside of WWE.
Yeah. I can think.
And those two had amazing matches in Ring of Honor against each other. Amazing matches in PWG. So.
Yeah, I can see. And let me see. So, say, just like at some point, they have AJ versus Kenny Omega. Who do you think WWE is likely to book to go over in that?
Again, that's another fact of we don't know when that would be. We don't know who's going to be the, you know, how quickly is that from when Kenny Omega came in. Like,
yeah, because I was thinking if it was just when Kenny Omega, like, starts to debut, like maybe he's been there for like a month, I would think Kenny kind of goes over.
If it's that soon, then depending on AJ's position, as long as he's not, like, in the title picture or anything, or there's plans for him to be challenging for the championship soon, then I can see Kenny Omega going over, no problem. But if there is the fact of, you know, AJ's next in line for the title in 2 pay-per-views or at the next pay-per-view, then that would be kind of a hard one to predict. Again, like I said, it's circumstances on when it all actually happens and what's going on at the time.
And say Braun Strowman doesn't come back in time for this year's SummerSlam, who do you think Brock Lesnar's opponent is going to be?
I honestly think if it's going to be SummerSlam and it's not Braun, it should be Finn Balor. Because they can play the whole thing up as 1 year ago, Finn Balor became Universal Champion and at the same time lost the Universal Championship due to injury. Now he's going to have to climb the unclimbable mountain of beating the Beast Brock Lesnar to regain that title that he never lost.
So I was kind of thinking Finn would win the Fatal 5-Way this Sunday, but you know, they could have like 2 matches in 2 pay-per-views. You never know.
Right. So I think Seth Rollins wins the 5-Way, and then they go on to do, like, I know they want to do Braun Strowman at SummerSlam, but maybe hold off for one more pay-per-view on that and do Seth, because I mean, the story is perfectly written there to do Finn Balor. Like, you can't write that any better for anybody else. And you say, you know, you've got the small man that Brock is just going to think that he can run right over, and that him and Paul Heyman think is the easy opponent, and then he gives Brock a good hard match.
Yeah, and so for the next coming pay-per-views, we haven't really seen Finn Balor like on a minor pay-per-view for WWE. He was on Payback Kickoff show, but that doesn't matter really. Do you think they'll use the demon attire on the minor pay-per-views, or do you think it'll just be for the major 4?
I was thinking that, and as big as they're pushing this Fatal 5-Way, I could see him coming out as the Demon on Sunday.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying too, because like last year he wrestled SummerSlam and that was it.
I mean, like he did whenever they did NXT takeovers, that he would every single time be the Demon. But NXT takeovers were kind of like the Big Four. They wouldn't come like every single month.
Right, they were spread out every 3 months or so.
Yeah, but I just don't really see if Finn Balor is going to be losing. Like, if he does win the Fatal 5-Way, that's fine. Right. But it would kind of make his Demon character look weak. But it's fine losing to Brock. But unless it's but it won't. I don't think it'll be a squash match. But if it's just like a regular Brock match against the Demon, then I think that would hurt his character. But if he was to lose to somebody like Roman or Seth, I think it would really hurt his character.
No, I get exactly what you're saying there. That makes a lot of sense. And so, I mean, the Demon character, they haven't even really made a reference to it since his return. So that's what's leading me to believe that they may not be doing it at Extreme Rules. But at the same time, I think because of how big they are pushing this match, it's like, oh, this is a game changer. This could change the entire landscape of the new era. I mean, maybe they do it, maybe they don't. It wouldn't matter either way. It'd be cool. But I think, especially fans that didn't watch NXT and have forgotten about SummerSlam last year, it really wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah, and I was wondering, why are they hyping up this match like it's going to change the new era? I just don't understand it, because it's just another Brock title defense.
Exactly, and I don't understand it either. Like, it's just a #1 contender match. Like, we haven't done that before. I mean, yeah, you don't do #1 contender matches anymore. You just say, hey, this guy's looked good. Let's give him a title shot. So, I mean, maybe it's the fact of, hey, these guys actually have to earn a title shot. So that's why it's so game-changing or something. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, especially if one of them are going to lose, it really doesn't change the new era all that much. I don't know. It's just really confusing to me. I just don't understand it. It's something, every time I think about it, it just irritates me. Like when they call Shinsuke Nakamura the artist on SmackDown, I really hope they stop doing that. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't get that either. But I can see why they could say that this is an important match, because the fact of it's Brock Lesnar's first defense since winning the title at WrestleMania. But for them to say that it's a game changer and it can change the new era, that doesn't make sense to me. But like I said, I can see why they would call it important, since it's Brock's first challenger.
Yeah, I can see that, but it just, I don't know. And my final question is, do you think, and you might shoot this down right away, but do you think, like, sometime next year, maybe Vince just kind of gives up and gets mad at Roman, and they don't have Brock versus Roman next year at WrestleMania?
I don't see that happening at all. The plan, he's got that plan dead set. Everything's being worked around that, as far as where they book Roman, where they book Brock, and I don't see any reason for him to get mad at Roman Reigns. It's not like the fans are booing him because Roman's doing anything wrong. It's just the fact of, oh, that's the guy that you guys have chosen, not who the fans chose, so that's why we boo him. So I don't think there's going to be a reason why he would get mad at Roman. I mean, unless Roman fails another drug test or something.
Yeah. So, like, say something like that were to happen, and he fails a drug test, and at next year's Royal Rumble, they're thinking that maybe, like, they have Roman, eliminate a lot of people you think Roman's going to win, and, like, Finn Balor eliminates Roman, wins the Rumble. Do you think Finn Balor would beat Brock at WrestleMania, or do they just keep the title on Brock?
I would in my opinion, it all depends because next year's WrestleMania is when Brock's contract expires. I would say go with Finn, but if Brock does agree to re-sign, they could go with Brock a little bit longer. But at the same time, if Brock's held that title for a year, I say go with Finn.
So what exactly is going on with like Brock's contract? Is he?
He's
is
his last
it
contract
for
he
him?
signed. Well, he signed a 3-year deal with his last contract, and it expires at WrestleMania next year, or right around WrestleMania time.
Oh, so what necessarily doesn't happen? What happens if he was to not sign the contract again?
Well, it'd be a Goldberg
leave.
situation. They just gotta find somebody to take the title from him and beat him. Yeah, Brock would be professional, and even if, say, his contract expires a month before WrestleMania, he'll be professional and work WrestleMania if that's the plan that they want to do.
So, like, would this be like Brock's final match ever if he was to not get his contract renewed?
Yeah, if he doesn't re-sign next year, he's not going to go wrestle for anybody else. He's either going to re-sign with WWE or he's going to just never wrestle again. But,
that makes sense.
So, all right. Thanks for the call and have a great night.
Thank you. Love you.
Not a problem. Thanks. So Robert Cathy had a good little analogy here. He said, Big Cass is equal to Shad Gaspard in reference to Crime Time. That's pretty funny. That's pretty darn funny. So let's finish off Raw here. We had Titus O'Neil defeating Kalisto in 51 seconds. We then had the Bayley This Is Your Life Bayley segment. This thing made me want to shoot myself in the head. It was so bad. So first off, we've got this table with a bunch of Bayley memorabilia, I guess you can call it. And there's an old lady, a guy, and a girl. And then, of course, Alexa Bliss. And Alexa talks about Sunday and the kendo stick on a pole. We see the kendo stick on the pole. And the first thing I think of is Alexa's looking up at this pole, and she's probably thinking, crap, can I even reach that even if I stand on the top rope? She's just a little shorty. But anyways. So she's running down all these things saying, I dug all these deep, dark secrets up from Bayley. I've got this trophy that Bayley won for sportsmanship. And Bayley was voted most likely to apologize in her senior year high school yearbook. And then she talks about, I've got her teacher here, and her teacher goes on and say some things. And then she's like, I got her ex-best friend as a kid, and they're not best friends anymore because all Bayley ever wanted to do was stay home and watch wrestling instead of hanging out and going to the mall. And then this is where it gets weird. Like, it was already weird, but then it got super weird. I've got Bayley's ex-boyfriend here, and apparently the teacher said something along the lines of Bayley couldn't go to school without her dad, and her dad always sat in the front row with her. And then the guy goes, yeah, it was weird because every time we'd go on a date with Bayley, her dad had to be there. And one time I went to kiss Bayley, and I closed my eyes, and I reached in, and I went in for the kiss. My eyes closed, and right before I went to kiss, I opened my eyes, and her dad was right there. I almost kissed her dad. And I was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? And he goes, the only reason I dated Bayley is because I wanted to get with her best friend. And then they started making out. Like, are you for reals? This shit's stupid. And then Bayley finally comes out and gets beat up by Alexa Bliss. She tries to get some offense on her, and Alexa just waffles her in the face with the forearm. Bayley tries to get a kendo stick. Doesn't work out. Alexa gets her own kendo stick. Waffles Bayley over the back with the kendo stick. Bayley goes flying out the ring, and that's it. Horrible. Not much more to say other than hated it. Never want to see anything like it again. And if this is what Raw is coming to, then they're going to get another record low number tomorrow as far as the ratings. Horrible. Where was that? I saw something in the chat I wanted to make reference to. Somebody had a question. Now I think I lost it. Oh, Miss Price says, Finn is always the demon on pay-per-view. Well, in NXT he was because he was always in big top matches. But here in the WWE, like the caller said, if he's going to go out there and be the Demon and lose, okay, it depends on how he loses for the Demon persona to either be dropped down a peg or not make sense or not matter anymore. So it all depends on how it's worked. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out with the Demon paint at all. Ryan Armstrong says, do you see Red Dragon in WWE? As far as right now, I know they're interested. Well, they were interested in Kyle O'Reilly. I don't know how much that interest is there anymore because there were legal issues. And Bobby Fish, I think Bobby Fish is still working ROH. I'll tell you right now. Bobby Fish. Ring of Honor. Yes. Bobby Fish is still working. Yes. He said that he may be leaving. There's a rumor that he may be leaving Ring of Honor. He is signed on with a short-term contract, but in March, the end of March, he did say that he'd be taking independent bookings again. But yeah, as of right now, he is under a short-term contract with Ring of Honor. So after the Bailey segment, we go backstage, and Enzo was laid out once again. Cass runs up like, oh, whoa, what happened? I don't know what happened. And Kurt Angle is there and is like, you didn't see it? I didn't see it. We're going to get to the bottom of this. And he said again, you better find out who did this. Cass said that he's never again going to leave Enzo's side. And he helped Enzo up. Enzo didn't want no help this time. So if it's Cass, then Enzo's going to know next time. He's going to know because Enzo's quote-unquote never going to leave his side. Big Soja says, PW in Madera, I live here. No, I'm from Fresno. Well, technically, I'm from Coarse Gold, but I live in Fresno now. Sam the Man TV, what is going on? Sam the Man says, I want to know when is Roman Reigns becoming a champ, IC or Universal? There is a rumor that after Extreme Rules, he could be going into a title feud with The Miz over the IC title. And as far as Universal title, next year WrestleMania, baby. Roman Reigns going to be your champion, beating Brock Lesnar. So then Austin Aries and Jack Gallagher defeat Neville and TJ Perkins in a long match. Like, they got a lot of time. You never see cruiserweights get 12, 13 minutes. But this is a really good match, and it ended with Austin Aries putting his last chancery submission on champion Neville and making Neville tap out, which hopefully doesn't mean that Neville is winning at the pay-per-view, because this is the third straight pay-per-view they've done Aries Neville, and I think it's time for Aries to get that win. Boss Gamer says, it is not Big Cass. The Revival attacked Enzo Amore. Hey, Kurt said, because think about this. Big Cass has a point here. He goes, it's the Revival. I know it. And Kurt goes, it can't be the Revival. And Cass looks at him like, well, why not? And Kurt goes, well, I watched them leave the building. And then Cass has a good point going, oh, but they can't come back in to attack Enzo real fast and leave again? So they're leading you to believe it could be Cass, could be the Revival. Who is it? When will we find out? That's the big $1 million question. The world may never know. Anyways, so after the tag team match, the Cruiserweights, which again, like I said, I was shocked. They gave them 13 minutes or so, 12, 13 minutes. They did an interview backstage. Mike Rome interviewed Roman Reigns. Roman did a pretty good interview here. I thought it was way better than the Seth Rollins interview. Reigns said that there isn't a man on earth that actually owns him, and the only thing he's concerned with tonight is proving that he is the big dog, and that he's going to show everybody why this is his yard. Charlie Caruso then interviewed Neville backstage. She asked him if losing by submission to Aries for the first time since joining the Cruiserweight division concerned him, and he marched away in disgust. We then had another cringe-worthy segment. First half of this was all right with Goldust. He did one of the old school Goldust vignette promos. He says it takes a while for you to reach that moment where you snap. It's called the breaking point. Now he's back in the director's chair. R-Truth knew Goldust was too big for a supporting role. Goldust said Truth held him back and Truth wanted the spotlight all to himself. Soon, he will put an end to all that because their motion picture will reach their final crescendo. Their ending won't be happy. It won't be sad. It will be golden. Goldust said the golden age is back. And then all of a sudden we got some Shaft music. Like, what the hell is this? It said, Truth Be Told Productions. I was like, oh, Lord, don't do this. And just like the Goldust stuff, we had R-Truth. Truth was sitting in a director's chair looking over his shoulder, which was kind of dumb. Like, he's sitting there like, wish I had a camera, I could do it. But anyways, he started with the famed line, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration? I'm like, really? Truth said he loved going to the movies when he was young because it served as an escape. He took a lot of inspiration from guys like Shaft and Julius Wangfield. I hope I said that name correctly. He quoted some more from Jules from Pulp Fiction. In a serious note, Truth said Goldust was gonna get got. And after that tweet on Twitter, he shouldn't have said that on Raw, because that tweet on Twitter where he said, remember, I'm gonna get you. No. Then we had an almost 20-minute main event. It was like 19 minutes, 18 minutes. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. Great match. I really liked this match a lot. Reigns hit the drive-by, driving Rollins' ribs right into the post early on. Reigns made some heel-like facials after scoring big moves early. Reigns controlled for several minutes early on in the match, then attempted the Superman punch, but Rollins caught him with a sidekick to the ribs and then a sling blade. Rollins tried the Falcon Arrow, but his ribs were too sore. Rollins had a mistimed drop kick and a tope. Rollins did a springboard right into a Superman punch by Reigns, but Rollins kicked out of two. Reigns went for a spear, but Rollins sidestepped and turned it into a cradle. Rollins sprung off the top with a super kick. Rollins went to the top rope, but Reigns caught him with a right hand and tried a Samoan drop, but Rollins flipped over just like how he injured his knee against Kane. Did that sunset flip off the top rope. Same spot, like exact same spot where he injured his knee with Kane back in 2015. And he powerbombed Reigns in the corner. As he powerbombed Reigns in the corner, this was amazing. Like, I loved this. He had that buckle bomb. Reigns hit the buckle bomb, bounced off the turnbuckles, went right into Superman punch. Both men were down. This was great. Crowd was going nuts. After both men were down for about 5-10 seconds or so, Rollins rolled out of the ring. Reigns got out as well, ran around, but Rollins threw him into the ring steps. Rollins had a blockbuster for a near fall, then sprang back to the top rope for a frog splash in a good false finish. I like that one. A lot of people thought that frog splash was the finish. Crowd was really into it right then, and then it was just boom. Roman kicked down. Okay, cool. Where was I? Rollins then went for a Phoenix Splash. Third time we saw that move tonight, but Reigns moved out of the way. Reigns went for a spear, but Rollins bounced away from him and went for his Rainmaker knee strike, but Reigns ducked, speared him, and won the match. Really, really good match. I really liked it. As far as main events go for Raw, it's a really good one. So, let's take this call here. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim. How are you doing tonight?
Pretty
How
good.
did you think of Raw? What did you think of Raw tonight, Tim?
I mean, Raw was all right. It wasn't a horrible show. I really think the Goldust R-Truth stuff took it down a little bit. I really think the Bayley Alexa Bliss, like, this is your life thing, that killed the show for me. Like, from then on,
really weird.
Yeah, from then on, I was kind of whatever with the show, and then the main event got me back in. I loved the main event. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. I had expectations as far as the match being good, but it was better than good. It was an above average match, I would say. But as far as the overall show goes, it was just a show. It did nothing really to hype me up for Extreme Rules, which is weird because typically they do nothing to hype you up for the pay-per-view recently.
Yeah.
So, but what did you think?
I thought it was decent. I have no idea what the thing was. Bayley, this is your life. I don't. Do they take this any further? Because I'm just thinking about it right now, and it's just really stupid, and it's making me laugh.
Yeah. Like they really, it's like they're just making it out to be like Bailey's still a child and she shouldn't be here playing with the adults and trying to get into fights and stuff. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, it's really weird to me, and I don't know why. Now I'm starting to wonder what Bailey's dad looks like. It just makes me like really curious. I have no idea how old he is and how old he would have been, but it'd be pretty awkward for like some adult man to be in whatever grade she was, just to be sitting in there.
Yeah, I don't know. I know we've seen her mom. They did, when she first won the NXT Women's Championship, they did one of their Backstage YouTube videos, and her mom was there with her. But I've never seen her dad. I don't know.
And they reference her dad all the time, but we've never seen her, have we?
Her dad? I've never seen her dad. They always say, oh, your dad used to bring you to wrestling shows. Even when he couldn't afford it, he found the money just to get you to a wrestling show. But yeah, they've never shown her dad. They make reference to how he's the one that helped her become such a big wrestling fan, but that's about it.
So is Bailey's dad going to interfere in the match at Extreme?
I don't think so.
I know, it's just...
it would be funny. It would be a funny dynamic.
I would love to see. I don't know how good he'd be. I just love him to see as like a manager. That seems really funny to me now.
Her dad climbs the top rope to grab the kendo stick for her.
Oh my god. Okay, I have to get. Oh god. I need to take my aspirin. Hold on. I can't laugh too much. Oh, hold on. Sorry.
Not a problem.
Oh, God. Okay, I'm back. I thought tonight's main event was really good. I don't know. It was, for some reason, you mentioned the spot between the buckle bomb and the Superman punch.
Right.
I like the look of it, but to me, thinking about it, then it injured somebody, like injured two people, and Roman just gets back up and Superman punches him. Given that he did go down after he did it, it just kind of felt weird to me.
I get what you're saying, is that the buckle bomb should be a more impactful move, as far as you shouldn't just like pop right back from it.
Yeah. To be honest, to me though, I understand like it's supposed to be a painful move, but to be honest, it doesn't look like anywhere at all what it should be, and it doesn't sound good either.
I get what you're saying, and the one thing, like, I liked the move, but the one thing that may have killed it for some is, as far as when they did it, Roman should have just popped out and hit him with the Superman punch, but instead he did his thing where he like kind of like runs a little, jumps, and then hits the Superman punch. So that does take out the fact of, oh, well, you just got hit with the buckle bomb, but you were still able to do your little run and jump. He should have just bounced off, and as he was going down, threw the Superman punch.
So, do you think Seth is going to win this Sunday at Extreme Rules? Because I really think that's going to happen.
I do too. I've been saying Seth Rollins even before they made the 5-way. I said that, you know, they're going to do Braun Strowman at Great Balls of Fire, and then whoever faces Brock besides Strowman should be Seth Rollins. There's a story there already anyways, as far as back in 2015, 2015, you know, WrestleMania 31, Brock never got that title back from Seth, and now the roles are reversed, as Brock's the champion now, and Seth's going to challenge, but at the same time, Seth never beat Brock for the title. He cashed in Money in the Bank and pinned Roman Reigns.
Yeah. I'm wondering, when is Seth going to hit his finisher? Because he keeps going for it, but it's just always a hit and a miss. He's only hit it one time, and I'm just wondering, like, the power behind this move, like if Roman or somebody like Brock could kick out of it.
Right, I don't know. I mean, we've seen him do it before, and that's the move that broke John Cena's nose.
Oh.
If you remember.
Well, John Cena got back up from that, so I don't know if that's a good finisher.
Right. But at the same time, like, it legitimately, if you remember, before they had their big match at, what was it, SummerSlam?
Mm-hmm.
He broke John Cena's nose.
Yeah.
With the knee like that, so...
I mean...
Hopefully he's figured it out so where he's not nailing him right in the nose.
Yeah, I heard that it was more... I'm not saying it's John Cena's fault.
Right,
I just heard that he kind of leaned into it.
Yeah, I heard it was just a fluke accident and no one's really to blame. It was just both guys were coming at each other at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, do you think if Seth wants to win the Fatal 5-Way at Great Balls of Fire, do you think Seth will hit the move at all on Brock?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, maybe. But since we haven't really seen that move, I don't even know if they're thinking about it. I mean, we could be overthinking this. I don't even know if they've thought about it as far as keeping that move safeguarded.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It really depends. I mean, I'm not sure if we have seen anybody kick out of it yet. I mean, John Cena did get back up from it, but he didn't get pinned. But, I mean, that's an older match where it wasn't necessarily his finisher.
True.
You know. But, I mean, no one's kicked out of the End of Days. That's a good point. Do you think anyone will kick out of the End of Days anytime? Baron Corbin's finisher?
I know the move. I think it just depends on the opponent. But I get what you're saying. I mean, people have kicked out of the Deep Six, but not the End of Days. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah. It's kind of weird to think that he's gone this whole time. I wonder if they've had this idea for like a little while that nobody's supposed to kick out of it.
Right.
I mean, I know they've had it in the last year or two since he's been on the main roster, but in NXT, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good way to look at it though. Like, who's going to be the one to kick out of it? Who could be that one that finally, he can't keep down with it? Or is it that move that's the move he goes to because no one can kick out of it and he knows that's his go-to move?
Mm-hmm. And I don't really think it would get that big of a reaction though if somebody were to kick out of it.
No, because I don't think most people are thinking about it like that. I think most people would just be like, "Oh, he's lost before, whatever, cool."
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see him get a bigger reaction if somebody were to kick out of that move, but right now I don't see him getting a reaction big enough for that.
You got to think about is how many people actually realize that nobody's kicked out of that?
Probably not really a lot of people. They never really mention it. They never actually.
Yeah, I've never heard him say anything at all.
Yeah.
So.
I wonder why they don't. I mean, maybe they just don't need to mention it.
Maybe, but I mean, it's kind of like the Asuka thing in NXT where she's undefeated. She beat Goldberg's streak, and leading up to it, they always just said, "Oh yeah, she's undefeated as a champion," but they never played it up how big it really is. But now that she passed the Goldberg number, they're promoting that all over, and I wouldn't be surprised if they start promoting it on NXT TV now.
Yeah. So, has any of the NXT tapings led up to the NXT Takeover Brooklyn yet, or is it just still kind of?
What I read from last week's tapings, nothing is really setting up anything for the next Takeover. That should be the tapings in. I think it's either end of June, early July.
Yeah.
So right now it's just like a couple filler weeks, I guess you can say. Like we'll see, we'll see who's going to be strong going into those last set of tapings, but nothing as far as setting anything up for the Takeover.
Yeah, and I take a look at NXT's tag division. I don't see anybody really posing a threat to the Authors of Pain.
They did.
Mean, Heavy Machinery, they're all right. I don't see them taking the titles off them.
No.
So.
No. They did an angle, I think, with Heavy Machinery and the Authors of Pain, but like saying, we could be the next challengers, we could take those titles from you. But as far as like setting anything up, nothing was officially set up. But they did make them seem as if that's the direction they're going, which I believe it is.
So, who would be the team to take the titles off of them? I mean, you never know. There could be some team signed,
Right.
like, like some big name, or maybe some like returning person comes. Which I don't think if somebody returned, they wouldn't take the titles off the Authors of Pain.
And it's unknown. I mean, it can also be like we saw Kalisto and Sin Cara. They were never a team, and then all of a sudden they got put as a team, and they won the tag titles, like, pretty quickly. So there could also just be two guys that they put together as a random tag team. They get over, and they say, screw it, let's put the titles on them. Whether it be for just for 2-3 months or not. I mean, if something gets over, they could always change the things and say, hey, let's try this real fast.
Yeah, to be honest, I really kind of thought DIY were going to get the tag team titles back after, like, all of this. They keep getting put down, but that really was a great angle. When is Tommaso Ciampa supposed to return?
As of right now, he's supposed to go. I don't know if he went yet or if he's going this week. He's going to Alabama to get his ankle evaluated as I know he needs surgery. They told him he needs to have the surgery. At the tapings, he said that he's taking some time off, he's going to get healed up, and that he's going to come back, and he's putting everybody on notice. Again, I don't know how long he's going to be out because I don't know if he's even gone down to where he would do the surgery and get it all checked out and evaluated and set up.
So, do you think, like, any time in the future when Tommaso returns, do you think they'll have, like, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT Championship? Like,
I don't see the title because I see the next challenger for Bobby Roode being they want it to be Drew McIntyre, but coming out of this last tapings, they did an angle with Roderick Strong and Bobby Roode. So that, I don't know if they changed their plans and they're going Roderick Strong for Brooklyn, because before Chicago, the plan was Drew McIntyre. So as far as what they're going to do with that, they already have at least 2 guys lined up who they're making strong, and I know they're going to push Aleister Black as well.
They really need to do something because there's a lot of great talent right now in NXT.
Right.
In the upper part. But I can't say the same for the 2 other divisions. They really need to work on that.
Exactly.
I don't know if they should have another belt in NXT. They technically do win the UK Championship, but nobody from NXT is really going over there. But you could have somebody like a Drew McIntyre, come over.
See, what I've heard with that is they want to do the weekly show with the UK guys and have their own show, but then when the whole show would build around the NXT Championship or the UK Championship, and then that big title match would take place at the NXT takeovers. That is the plan right now, because it would be the most cost efficient thing. You build up your 3-4 weeks or whatever, your 2-month shows, all leading up to we get our one big showcase match at the next NXT takeover.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. I really would like to see, maybe Drew McIntyre comes over there, because Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne had a pretty good match.
Oh, yeah.
Like a really great match. Oh, man. I would like to see, maybe Drew McIntyre come over there and fight one of them. That would be so amazing.
That would be good. Really good.
Because
I know Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate both worked the NXT TV tapings.
So, do you think there's any chance they'll bring British Strong Style into the UK Championship show?
I don't understand British Strong Style. Is that like a
That's a faction.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I honestly don't know because I don't even know. I didn't know what that was.
It's Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, and Trent Seven.
Okay, yeah, probably not because Pete Dunne's the heel, and then Trent Seven, we haven't really seen if he's a heel or face yet, and of course, Tyler Bate's the baby face.
You know, British Strong Style put on a lot of great work. If you haven't seen them before, they do some really good matches.
Gotcha.
You should check out. They faced the Elite.
Right.
I don't remember how the match goes, but it was a pretty good match.
I know what you're talking. Once you told me the guys, I knew that those three have been working as like a 3-man thing. I just didn't never know what they had an official name.
Okay, yeah. I would really love to see them, though, to be honest, in a faction in NXT or in the UK Championship.
I heard the match against Omega and the Bucks was really good.
Yes, it was fantastic. I can't really remember any of the spots because I watched it like a couple weeks ago and I just can't remember. But it was really good. And when do you think Pete Dunne or Tyler Bate can get brought up to the main roster? Because I really want them on the main roster as possible.
Last I heard was it was going to be like a tiered system. You'll start in the UK, then you'll go to NXT, and then if you work out in NXT, then you can come to the main roster.
That seems like a really long process.
And to be honest, I don't think it should be anytime soon if they're trying to build an actual touring brand in the UK, because they need to keep their guys on that UK show so that way they can keep getting promoted there. And then when you start touring, you know, okay, these are the guys that I'm going to see at these house shows, and these are the guys that I'm going to see pushed as like top guys for these house shows. So,
I mean, you know, maybe you could bring somebody up to the main roster, like maybe have Drew McIntyre go over there and be the big guy for a while.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't know what they'll do with Drew on the main roster, really. So that could be a thing he does, is go over to the UK Championship scene.
I just hope Vince doesn't see him and remember him from 3MB. But at the same time, he's pushing gender, so we never know.
Yeah. I mean, you really never know, because anybody could be champion. Like, you know, you never know what Vince is thinking as he gets older. I mean, we could see Kurt Hawkins beat Brock Lesnar. I don't see it happening. It could happen if Vince just wakes up and just... Oh, no, I don't want to think that. No, that makes me really sad. See, thinking about stuff like that makes me really sad for some reason. When I first heard about Jinder versus Randy, because I didn't get to watch the 6-man match when it happened,
right?
And I really thought my friend was joking. But now that I've seen what Jinder can do, I have like fully supported it.
Oh yeah.
I think they should give more chances like this, but I don't think they should do it like regularly, because it you know, this just came out of nowhere and was like a big surprise. If they started doing it more often, it wouldn't really work.
True, very true.
So who do you think takes the title off of Jinder?
John Cena.
Oh no.
That's honestly what I'm thinking, but yeah. But I gotta say thank you for the call and have a great night.
All right. I love you. Goodbye.
All right. Gonna do a couple more minutes here before we wrap this up. Let's check out the chat. Fortunately, we're not gonna take any more calls. Stop the One said, balls of fire. With balls, why fire? And why great? This makes me cringe. I want reasons. It's a good one. Yes, Stop the One. I think you're the only one in the world that loved the Alexa Bliss Bailey This Is Your Life segment. He said, am I the only one? I think you may be the only one in the world, because Twitter's hated it. But you know what Twitter didn't hate? Corey Graves. Whoever thought Corey Graves was the best thing on the show? Corey Graves getting an elevated role. I love it. I love it a lot. But, all right. I think that's going to do it. We will be live again tomorrow night following SmackDown Live. Same place, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern time. And, yeah, phone numbers. You can call in. Can talk about the show, SmackDown. If you want to talk about anything else going on, again, we'll be live tomorrow after SmackDown. Thank you, everybody, listeners, callers, live people, watching back on the replay on YouTube. I just got to say thank you to everybody who supports Pro Wrestling Unlimited, who buys the T-shirts, who goes and donates and does the time on the Gawk box. Again, it's all very, very appreciated. I appreciate all of you guys. And we'll be live again tomorrow, same time, after SmackDown Live. Have a great Monday night. Or Tuesday morning if it's already Tuesday morning over there, wherever you're from.